Nobody remembers when the moon blinked. It just stared. And when it did, the world did not scream. It wouldn't. Not yet. It hushed for something it could not name. Its vast derelict pupil, the color of which none could really make sense of, glistened and shone with something like tears, or maybe it was tar. Curiosity was the first mercy, wonderment. Children pointed fingers, science pointed tools, and even as reckoning fluxed into spectacle, the moon held its indifferent gaze. The world's wise men and women sought reason, scrambling for a pathetic why to the what, clawing to understand the pity that lay within its leer. They clung to their measurements, their sciences, prophecies, their madnesses, as if an explanation could matter to a thing older than beginnings, as if understanding could measure God. And when it blinked again, the sky started to bleed, and the world remembered how to scream. Fear was the second mercy. People knelt in altars, server rooms, brothels, knelt to things they held no belief in just hours before. Under the moon's static gaze, faith showed its 100 faces. Then cities drowned in wails and cackling. The language of dread that everything understood draped the world under a red, bleeding sky. When clouds and stars turned scarlet and reeked the scent of iron and rot, science abandoned its instruments. Priests abandoned their temples. And when it blinked again, the sky cracked open. Stars fell from the night. Holy blood poured like rain from the fractures of the decayed firmament. Mayhem was the third mercy. Wild pandemonium, bargaining. Fire and blood danced in the streets as brother and sister gnawed and clawed at each other's throats, then at themselves. Man pointed his fingers, then his guns, then his armies. Nations fell to dust in a frenzy to court the pale madness that loomed with the gaze of the moon. And as man started drowning in his own boiling blood, the moon blinked once more, and reality came and bound with the thunderous roaring of trumpets from the mangled sky. The fourth mercy was madness. The trumpets above never ceased their booming song. Their choir bellowed chords of wilting sanity and delirium. They never stopped, even as men of God proclaimed it the day of judgment, even as people tore at their eyes and ears and wept tears of oily ichor as dreams broke free from minds, and clocks ticked backwards as if time was remembering that it too was just a story. Meaning peeled off of language like rot from an old fruit, as words danced into all but mania. Letters dissolved into senseless parallax, and broken voices melted to mere vibrations in space. Things in thought bore children whose shapes blistered and mocked the idea of form, and their children drowned mankind in absurdity. Laughter became the music of uncreation, laughter and the great blaring of trumpets from the raptured heavens above. Oblivion was the final mercy. Though oceans boiled into ink and pus, though mountains stood up and danced, though the sun set 1 billion times each second, man would only look up and meet the gaze that heralded the unraveling of existences. the gaze that welcomed the curdling unmaking, the gaze of hollowed finality. And as all of the cosmos finally folded into itself, as understanding chuckled itself to sleep, the sons and daughters of sinners watched with sightless eyes the moon blink one last time.